Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Chanel, and if you're tuning with us here today, then you probably have a lot of curiosities about how you're finally gonna publish your book. And fortunately for us, we have here no other than Alinka Rutkowska. She is a USA Today and Wall Street Journal bestselling author, the co-founder of Leaders Brands, and she's helped more than 500 leaders share their wisdom with the world through books, including the co-founder of PHL International, the CEO of Mitsubishi, and the CEO of Montessori. She is the author of Your Book or Your Excuse, a book that challenges successful leaders to stop waiting for someday and start leading through authorship. For this video, we're going to unpack the benefits of writing and publishing your own business book and why it's still so relevant today. So let's start. So, Alenka, how does publishing a business book immediately change how an entrepreneur is perceived in their industry?
Hmm. Well, it's amazing. Essentially, from somebody that wasn't positioned as someone with that much authority, like you're immediately the person to go to within your niche. So I just got off a call right now with two entrepreneurs who are looking to get their book out, and we just did the math, and the book would essentially bring them $500,000 in business, both in consulting and in the speaking gigs that they would be doing, and then the book sales that would be the smaller portion of the whole revenue that they would be making. So the type of impact that you get is just incredible. Imagine somebody looking for your type of expertise searching on Google. When your book is on Amazon, that's going to be one of the first search results. So that's who they're going to see immediately, not just as recommended by a search engine, but since you're an author, now you become the authority. You're the first that shows up. You're going to be the one they will always refer to when they're looking for your type of solutions. So it just does so much work for you before you have to do anything. That's why when anytime I talk to potential clients, I invite them to read Your Book or Your Excuse before they come on that call, because this positions me as the authority, and I don't get questions that are very easily explainable before, such as why do the book, which is what we're talking about right now. Like, who have you worked with? So all the case studies, for people we've worked with, like the leaders of DHL, Mitsubishi, Montessori, many others are in the book. So this book allows me to then focus on the specific client's needs rather than having to go over generic information, or maybe not even generic, but it's just information that can be provided beforehand. So it serves as a lead generation tool. People who haven't heard about us can find us online, and then for the people that have already found us, it serves as a lead conversion tool. So just from that call I got off right now, $500,000, and the author said, well, easy. I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's obvious. That's what the book is gonna make. So if you're a business owner and you don't have a book, think about how much you're missing out on.
Okay, so that's great to hear about having a book will really cement your authority in your industry, right? And other people will be probably thinking about maybe they should just go like the social media platform of it, or they should just focus on marketing. But what do you think they should know more about the relevance or the importance of a book over just focusing on other platforms for marketing, or other platforms for reaching wide sales for their business?
Yeah, it's really funny when somebody says, I'm going to focus on marketing instead. Well, this is marketing. This is one of the most powerful forms of marketing. Or I'm going to focus on growing my business instead. No, this is growing your business. It's one of the most powerful tools to grow your business. So why not do social media? Yes, you need to do social media, but what are you going to talk about? So whatever your subject matter is, whatever it is, do you feel like you're going to be perceived as more of an authority, where you just talk about yourself, or when you talk about yourself and you show your best-selling book in hand? Like, how do you feel your listeners, your viewers are gonna look differently at you when you show up as a best-selling author? The perception of an author that is ingrained within us, when we go to school, does all that work for us. So we really need to thank the school system Because essentially, everybody who ever went to school or is going to school right now, nobody's glorifying YouTubers. Not even in my son's school, and he's always online. That's a separate conversation. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but the school system still is going to treat authors of books as authorities. My daughter school invites authors to speak about books, so they read the book at school and then they invite the author to talk about it. They don't invite YouTubers. So social media, yes, we're doing this for social media, so of course we need to be active. But when you're active on social media with a book, that's a whole different story, and you show up as a completely different type of expert.
Definitely, and as I see it, social media is fleeting, but if you have a book that really certifies not only your authority but your longevity as well, right? So it really goes hand in hand. You can have, your marketing or other social media platforms, but at the same time, your book serves as your core, right? So, which brings me to be curious about what are the most common or unexpected business opportunities that come from publishing a book?
The most unexpected. Well, yes, they say the sky is the limit. Something that has happened just personally, to my books is let's say foreign rights deals. You might never think about it, but I've sold deals to a Chinese publisher. So that's essentially a publisher that is purchasing licensing rights from me to be able to translate the book and distribute in their country. And so they pay me to do all the work, right? And those can be very lucrative deals. In fact, in my case, it was. So it's you're not doing a book for foreign rights deals. You're doing the book typically to grow your business, to get more speaking, to charge more, and then, surprise, now you get a foreign publisher wanting to pay you to be able to further increase your impact abroad. So that's something that might feel unexpected, but then it's not really so unexpected when you're doing it in a strategic manner like we are. So we actually have an active partnership with foreign rights agents. We go to all the book fairs. We have our foreign rights catalogs for our books, our clients' books. So that it's not so unexpected, right? When you actually have created systems around it, then these unexpected things suddenly become expected. Then what else? You get invitations to podcasts, to speaking gigs that are paid. That's great. And I've been invited to multiple speaking engagements where I have spoken. Where there was no, selling from stage, but then in the end, people still come and want to be part of what we're doing. So it's not unusual to sort of on the side be able to find a client, and that could even be the organizer or the host. So I do recall going on podcasts, talking about my topic, and then at the end, offline, the podcast host saying, well, this is incredible. I want to be a best-selling author too. Help me do that. I'm like, okay, well, sure. Let's see how we can help you. So they might seem unexpected, but then after a while, they no longer are. They're just part of the ecosystem that you create. These are opportunities that happen because you have the book and you're actively showing up with it.
Right. So what I'm hearing now is the book, having a book doesn't necessarily have to be a bestseller. You don't necessarily have to rely on your book sales to measure the success of your book, right? Having a book by itself really opens other doors and other opportunities. So I hope that people that will watch this video get that sense of security and affirmation that a book isn't just reliant. The book success isn't just reliant on the sales, but it really will be opening more doors that you could think of when you're publishing a book, right? So, okay, so let's get into the benefits of writing a book for your sales team. So, where in the sales funnel does a CEO authored book create the most leverage, and why?
Well, I would say in two spots. So the first one is going to be at the very beginning of the funnel. So that's when the book is a lead generation tool for you. So that's the book being on all the retailer platforms, or like me showing the book right now and saying, hey, check out your book or your excuse. So what this does, it generates leads. So it brings people into the door so that they can start the journey with you. And that's very valuable because it's essentially another funnel for your business. And the second place where I always use the book is closer to the conversations with the sales team. That's before people speak to me. So I always request that people read your book or your excuse, because we both have a better, higher quality conversation. A lot of questions are answered in this, and a lot of prospects right now, they essentially make, I don't know, I think it's 80% of their buying decision before they even hop on a call. So this allows me to help people make that decision. And if you don't have something similar, you have to go through, so what do you guys do? And tell me, so who have you worked with? Okay, so you get all these questions that everybody asks, but everybody asks because they make sense, but they will ask if you haven't provided them with an answer beforehand. So because I want to have elevated conversations, I request that people get the information before it makes more sense, right? I don't have to say the same thing for the 1,000th time, and they get a much more in-depth view because it took time to create the book. So whatever you read in the book is edited, it has been polished, so you're gonna have a denser experience. By denser, I mean if you spend 1 minute listening to me right now, or if you spend 1 minute reading the book, you're going to get more value in a shorter amount of time by reading the book.
Right. So on the other hand, for the sales team, so how does a CEO authored book elevate the credibility of the entire sales team in high stakes conversations?
Well, it flips the script a little bit, because typically, when people before people come and speak to me, they speak to one of the people on our sales team, and what they say at the end of the conversation is, okay, well, would it would you make time to be able to go through the book so that you have a higher quality conversation? So what this is, for them, even if their name is not on the cover, they have an asset that is theirs, that they're essentially positioning themselves, they're an extension of me. So they're positioning themselves as the authorities, which they are, because they have access to the asset that they're sending people to. And yes, you can have videos, and you should, or webinars, but webinars or videos, because it's such easy access, right? Anybody can shoot a video, right? Look for whatever, it's online, but it's only about 1%. It's less than 1% of the population that will ever publish a book. It just requires more effort, requires more strategy, requires a lot of things. Okay, and I'm not saying they're the videos that you find there's no effort or strategy. Some of them are excellent. I download YouTube videos, listen, in my car. I pre-select them before I don't doom scroll. Pre-select, listen. So yes, they do. Some of them do require a lot of effort. We also prepare these conversations, so it does require effort. But just by the numbers alone, right? Only 1% of the population is going to write a book. How many YouTube videos do you have, or Instagram, TikTok, whatever videos do you have online on the platforms? How many books do you have? I would want to know what that math is. And I'm pretty sure the number of books is way lower than 1% of the number of videos that you can find. That's why author equals authority.
Definitely. Okay, so to close this conversation with the one last question, Alinka. So, how can a book help someone dominate a niche rather than compete in a crowded market?
Well, a book is great because essentially you can almost create a niche or become the mayor of the niche. Um, uh, it's really interesting. It comes down to strategy. So typically, when I think about books and strategizing, like what we want to do is we want to make sure a book fits in and stands out. So we want there to be a category already that our authors or our readers are interested in. The category needs to be there. We don't want to invent it, right? So like, if I think about, let's say, a book for people who want to write a book, like there's a category for that already. I didn't invent it, which is good. It means there's an audience for my content. Okay, so I want there to be to be a category. But now I want my book to stand out. Okay, so I don't want to do a Me Too book. How do I write a book that's going to stand out, or we can look at it from your lens, as in saying we create like a subcategory for ourselves. So, this is your book or your excuse. A previous book I did, and let me show you, is Outsource Your Book. And this is going to be a really good example. So in book, like when you're looking for a book, how to write a book is a typical query, right? How to write a book. So I put together Outsource Your Book. So this is not about how to write a book. This is about how to find experts who can help you with all of the book creating and book publishing, book marketing steps. So it's a very different positioning. So what this is going to do is this is going to attract exactly who I want to work with, and it's going to repel who I don't want to work with. Because for people who are going to say, well, she's doing this to grow her business, right? I'm like, yes, yes, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing this for. But also, if you just read through it and like never work with me, you're still going to get everything you need to be able to outsource your book. All of the links, all of the places to go to. But then at the end I say, okay, like you can do all that. But, typically people that we work with are busy. They're entrepreneurs. They create businesses by working with experts. So it's a no-brainer. It's obvious to them that they're going to create their book to get the best results with professionals. So at the end I say, okay, if you don't want to be the project manager of your own book, like if this is not your thing, you have a business to run, like what we can do is we can see if we can help you. So this is what it's for. It's such a wonderful filtering tool to be able to attract who you want to work with and repel those who are not a good fit for you.
All right, so that's great to know, Alinka. Thank you for sharing with us all your knowledge. It's an honor to hear about that. And to all those who are watching, if you're curious about anything about writing and finally publishing your book, then feel free to check out Alinka Rutkowska's book. And if you're serious about authority, visibility, and legacy, then feel free to pick up and read your book or your excuse. And again, don't worry about having to spend money, because if you just drop a comment or send a message, then we'll send a free e-copy of the book to you. And as we wrap up this episode, I hope that you've been enlightened about the value of publishing your book today and how it can help you open more opportunities in the future. And if you don't want to keep having these ideas or conversations alone, then join us across our social media platforms or check out our website, leadersbrands.com, and book a time for a chat about your book idea. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Linkia, for sharing your wisdom, and goodbye, everybody.